Okay, so Meg Thee Stallion's manager and friend, T. Farris, takes a stand. And they're saying that social media vitriol hurts Meg. And he said he got her into a treatment center that cost $240,000 a month. Now, I'm going to ask an inquiring question. Is that a treatment facility, meaning for therapy, or maybe it's a rehab facility for maybe other issues that we might not know? I don't know. But they're admitting this in court under sworn testimony. So Meg is claiming the internet forced her to go to a treatment center. I was saying therapy, but I guess it's not therapy. So I'm going off the tweet. A treatment center that costs $250,000 roughly a month. Now, here's the thing with that. Y'all think that, and you think the issue with that only came from Milagro? Bro, everybody roasted Meg. Everybody roasted Meg. You get what I'm saying? Everybody was roasting Meg. They're claiming Meg lost supposedly $20 million in deals. Because here's the thing. Part of defamation is also not only proving there was some intent of malice, but also you have to prove damages, which is loss of earnings or loss of potential opportunities. They're claiming, and this is a Rock Nation guy, How Fitting, is testifying that the brand opportunities that Meg Thee Stallion lost was Activision and Call of Duty. Now, people, listen to me here, bro. What the fuck does Tory Lanez got to do, or Milagro, who, by the way, I don't think Call of Duty even know Milagro, respectfully. What the fuck that got to do with her losing her deal? But I'll tell you what they claim it does. So she lost Activision Call of Duty, Google Pixel, Just Eats Takeaway, and U.S. Women's Soccer Federation. They're saying Meg ditched Call of Duty when she learned she would be a shootable character in the game. Now, here's what's confusing about that. If she claims she was shot by Tory and not by Milagro, how the fuck is that Milagro's fault? How are you trying to prove damages against Milagro by saying they were going to put you in Call of Duty as a shootable character and you freaked out? According to the quote, this is the Rock Nation, and he says that triggered her. And she full stop said, I'm not doing this. How does that got to do with Milagro?
Are being used as a person like you, for instance, 4.5 million followers, Aiden Ross, 6 million followers, Joe Budden, 1 million followers, podcasters. Why are you guys singling out Milagro Grams, who doesn't have 1 million followers on all of her platforms, but yet you guys don't have smoke? They literally said today, Akademiks said things about Milagro Graham, Megan Thee Stallion not being shot and being a liar. You guys didn't say anything about that. Joe Budden went on his platform. Aiden Ross said things. Is that contributing to the trauma? So they're using your platform as a means to say, hey, if you guys are picking on Milagro, why aren't you picking on Akademiks? Why aren't you dragging Aiden Ross? Why aren't you suing Joe Budden? Why are you not throwing Nicki Minaj in the ring? Why are you not saying shit about Partisan Fontaine? Why are you just zeroing in on my client? So you were mentioned several times today. Joe Budden was mentioned several times today. Aiden Ross was mentioned several times today in reference to the fact that you guys have very large platforms, and yet the same smoke is not being sent your guys' direction that they have for Milagro.
That's very interesting. So my understanding, and I want your opinion on this, I guess, right? My understanding was, because I agree, right? Like, I think we all have said, hey, listen, Meg Thee Stallion has lied, because we've heard contradicting things. And I think we all have said, hey, we don't believe Tory did this. I think we all have said those two main fundamental things, right? Now, apart from that, right, like maybe jokes or whatever, maybe some have done more jokes than others, who cares? I've heard that the main thing was this deep fake video, which, I was about to put blanket support behind Milagro at a point, and then people said, well, here's how she differs from you. She tweeted out this fake porn video that's AI, and that was triggering. And I was just like, well, yeah, I guess we've never done that, so maybe that's the basis. What you've heard so far, do you believe that it's mainly based around that, or is it criticisms and commentators saying this chick's a liar, or we just don't believe her?
Well, if you want to know the truth, I think the deep fake is what they got to hook her on, because even the Rock Nation rep that was in there today, he didn't know who the Milagro was. Like, he was over here talking about, oh yeah, I heard some things from some articles she's written in the past, and everybody's looking like, so you think Milagro writes articles? She writes articles. So you don't even really know her. So to me, from my opinion, it feels like this is the thing. Today was the day to prove Megan Thee Stallion's PTSD. So you had T. Ferris up there. He was there to prove that Megan Thee Stallion couldn't even function in her daily life because she was so traumatized by Milagro-grams. Then you had Daniel Kinney there saying that pretty much Megan Thee Stallion couldn't even work anymore because of Milagro-grams in her, but he didn't even know who the hell she really was for real. And Megan had never said, it was Milagro-grams that made me not be able to, work these brand deals. And it also came out that he had found out about who Milagro-grams was in 9 months prior, where they were planning on suing her, but they didn't even, so they planned to sue her 9 months prior, and they didn't actually file the suit until like 9 months later. And so that was interesting. So you guys, it came across like they were building a case. Now, yesterday, going back to your original question, yesterday, it was all about, to me, them feeling like Milagro-grams didn't believe Tory Lanez shot Megan Thee Stallion. However, that's not enough to sue her. So the deep fake video was the bait that caught the fish. We can sue you, but now we're going to attach all of Tory Lanez, because 95% of this is all about Tory Lanez. 5% of this is about the deep fake. The deep fake is what they were able to get her on. But the real issue is you don't believe that she was truly shot by Tory Lanez, and we don't want you.
Hey, by the way,
in that, that's why all you guys are involved, because it's like everybody has said that.
Hey, by the way, I have here on my screen, and just for your reference, because you might not be watching. November 18th, Megan Cundiff tweets out, Meg Thee Stallion walks into the Miami federal courthouse for the second day of trial in her defamation lawsuit against online commentator. And that video of Meg walking in, the person right next to her is the lawyer I went toe to toe with for 8 hours, because I was in front of her. She's Joanna Manillo from Quinn Emanuel. I gave it a beat. I can't even lie to you. Like, you know what I mean? Listen.
You didn't really give, your demo was kind of boring, because you didn't really give much up.
This mad juicy shit. You know what's funny? I'm waiting till the end of the trial. Everybody gonna see the whole thing. You feel me? But you're gonna realize there's a part in it, and I think I did play when I first kind of streamed it. I realized, and it's going back to what you just said before. This woman, Joanna Manillo, she's a employee of a Quinn Emanuel, a firm that represents Rock Nation interests, and also Meg Thee Stallion in this case. There was a point she stopped asking me questions and was debating with me on why I didn't believe Meg Thee Stallion. It was odd to me, because this is a deposition. It was as if she thought she could convince me or debate with me to get me to say, you know what, I'm wrong. And she was debating on me on my actual views. And that's not how a deposition is.
Today in the deposition, they were trying to couple that tweet that you had, which I didn't like. And here's the thing, I'm not here to pick a side, but I don't like how I feel like they don't understand social media, or they do, and they're trying to manipulate it. You have a large platform. There's many people like myself, Milagro. You're a credible source majority of the time. So you'll say something, and maybe we will copy and paste the tweet just to post it on our page. So my thing is, they took your tweet, and you know this because they were interviewing you. They were trying to make it seem like you and Milagro planned this breaking news story together together when that's not how social media works. Okay, we got a person that's a larger platform than us. We trust Akademiks. We follow Akademiks. He posted it. All right, I'm going to repost it because I agree with what he's saying and I'm in line with that. And I'm going to post it to my audience. That I knew that didn't mean that you and Milagro were sitting on the phone saying that you guys are going to post this together. And you were like, I don't know what she does in her day to day. I didn't know that she posted it. Like, but they were trying to make it seem like you guys both conspired together almost to post a breaking news story about the DNA being on the gun. And then when you were like, well, I guess if that's how you want to look at it, that it wasn't accurate, I guess it's true. But it also doesn't mean that it wasn't true. It was inconclusive. So that doesn't mean that it was a lie. And it doesn't mean that it was the truth. So it could go either way. But I didn't like how they were trying to make it seem like you guys plotted that together because you're a bigger platform. So there's going to be times where we might quote you or we might copy something that you say. That doesn't mean that we were on the phone with you planning it. You know what I mean?
And Armon, you're mentioning something that I think, it's a reason why they go at Milagro, right? Because if you have really amazing lawyers up there, they're batting these down and swatting them like flies.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys are trying to use jump clips to say something that the context doesn't say, that the person isn't saying. You're trying to develop proof of a conspiracy by drawing random things from, they have a treasure trove of what they think is evidence, but it's really just chatter, it's fodder. Like, yeah,
they had Milagro has like a Discord, a bunch of different chats. You have a bunch of chats too. Okay. So they have like Tory Lane's source person or XYZ, and these people would message her in regards to Tory or Megan or something like that, and somehow they were trying to associate that with Milagro, and it's like, we know on this end, we get DMs from people with no picture and different names in their titles all the time. You can't associate that with me. That has nothing to fucking do with me. And I'm just like, I just can't ride with that because it's like, it takes all of our power away. And then two, what is the problem if Daystar or Sunstar was the source? It's no difference than TMZ or anyone else. Like, that is part of our business to get exclusive information so that we can relay it to our audience because it builds our credibility and our platform. I don't see there's anything wrong her having sources, and she does not have to believe that Megan Thee Stallion was shot by Tory Lanez, even though I believe he shot her, but she doesn't have to believe that. And I feel like they're punishing her because she doesn't believe that.
Yeah, because she doesn't fall in line. I think they're trying to prove a RICO. They're trying to prove a civil RICO in the sense of a conspiracy that is going to have Tory supposedly puppeteering. Milagro is one of like the top head honchos. And I guess they think myself as well.
But why are they not coming for you, Joe or Aiden Ross, when you guys have said crazy too?
You know why? Because I think they know for the most part those lawsuits would most likely get batted down in the same stage that Drake's lawsuit got batted down versus Kendrick, which means it's like, hey, listen, some of this stuff is going to be protected speech. This isn't defamation. Like, two people either slinging mud or two people like saying stuff. Again, she is a public persona. So when she gets to utilize, hey, well, this goes beyond the pale of just commentary and you using your freedom of speech to now you're putting out your intentionally. And I think that's where this case might fall on. How could they prove intent? How are they proving intent?
I don't know, because they had the psycho forensic psychologist there, really? And that diagnosed Megan Thee Stallion with PTSD. However, they had her looking up all of Meg's previous music videos, interviews, documentaries, screenshots of Milagro Grams posting the horse leg next to Tory Lanez chopping up the horse leg. They had her look up that video. However, she knew nothing about Nicki Minaj's foot. And none of the lyrics in that record, which they broke all the way down. None of Partisan Fontaine. They didn't have her look over any of that information. They didn't have her look over anything you said, Joe Budden said, Aiden Ross. They didn't even know. The lady said she thinks she knew who you were, but she wasn't really sure if you affected Megan Thee Stallion's mental health. She wasn't sure if Joe Budden affected Nicki Minaj. She couldn't call it. She barely knew who Nicki Minaj was. They only sent her Milagro-grams things to research in Tory Lane. So the forensic psychologist said, well, it was the shooting first and Milagro's internet platform second merged together is what gave Megan Thee Stallion the PTSD. And Milagro's lawyers are like, so nobody else contributed to the PTSD? Did you even hear about everybody else or what everyone else said? And unfortunately, Megan Thee Stallion didn't even mention anybody else or send in any of those materials for the analysts to review, to consider if that had something to do with her trauma. So I thought that was very interesting.
Armon, Meg no showing no goddamn smoke with me. Hey, so I think Meg is about to take the stand tomorrow. I think.
Yeah, she's gonna be there tomorrow. Yeah, she's gonna be there tomorrow. So I'm predicting a cry.
I've heard that tears are. I heard that when they played the deep fake video, she was starting to bat around the eyes already. So I could tell it's gonna be a session tomorrow. If you
yesterday she looked like she was gonna slap the shit out of Milagro, because Milagro was in there calling her all kind of business. You know the audio that Milagro station had. So when Megan would hear like, you flat, tough, flabby body, that and the third, and so Megan Thee Stallion kind of looked up and kind of glared at her, and Milagro kind of almost broke into tears because they were saying, well, what if you actually found out that Tory Lane shot her? Would you feel bad? And Milagro went into the fact that, how her mom has been in and out of jail with drugs and how she has a soft spot for people in jail. And she started breaking down in tears and saying that she really wanted to believe Megan Thee Stallion and she would be the first one to be at bat for her, but she just can't believe her. She just doesn't believe her because she lied, but Megan Thee Stallion was fucking like glaring at her. But before that, Megan was like, she's either super media trained or she's like, oh, bye. She doesn't look around at anybody. She looks past everybody. She's stone cold, stoic. She gives nothing. She's a hard read. And she may give you a little energy on the walk up and the walk out. But other than that, you're getting a stone cold face. Now, T. Ferris, he was there today, so she got a little bit more love. But that was interesting because we found out that they lived together in Miami and his name is on the deed, and we're not quite sure if her name is on the deed. Yet it was said that he was a guardian of hers, but he's saying he's not a guardian, but he has financial control, or at least a lot of financial control over her money. And also, he's the one that slightly kind of helped admit her into that therapy center, paying over $240,000. So it's like, okay, so she lives with you. It was stated that you were her guardian. You have a little bit of financial control. What is this relationship for real? Does Megan have a drinking problem? Does she have a mental issue? So that's what Milagro's team was trying to paint today as well. So it's just a lot going on in this case.
Someone once told me the grass is much greener